a way to like set up the stream before I go on because I'm always adjusting. Anyway, I guess that works for now. Hello, welcome to I'm Woke. I'm your host, Emelina. In today's video, I'm gonna take you guys through the like spiritual phases or different understandings of the journey of the different phases of awakening through a spiritual process. And I'm going to be using surfing as the analogy because depending on the phase you're in depends on what you encounter spiritually. And honestly, I think surfing is the best, it's the best analogy to break it down in a very human way that feels very practical for us to understand the mechanics of creation, the mechanics of why and how we move through certain lessons and development depending on which phase of awakening that we're in and what we can look forward to as we transition and shift into new phases. If you're new to my world, my name is Emelina Calder. I am a high performance coach, a cosmic shaman, an Akashic records reader and practitioner, and teacher, and a psychic medium. If you're new to my channel and want to subscribe, hit that subscribe button, the bell for notifications so you don't miss any energy updates that I post weekly. I help you guys surf the energetic waves of consciousness to understand who you are, step into the highest version of yourself, all the good things I post on spiritual and personal development. So if you love that, make sure you subscribe. And let's jump right in to go ahead and tap that like button because she needs all the good algorithmic things. Drop a comment below. You guys know I love to talk to you guys and answer your questions and hear from you and about you. And yeah, and I've got a couple of like bomb trainings below that are free in the description that you can go check out. One is an Akashic Records 8-part video training, and the other one is a really fantastic meditation that'll help you. It's like a technology, energetic technology that'll help you clear your etheric field, create strength in your auric field so that you feel really great and really divinely protected. So I'm gonna jump in, but I do need to adjust somehow because God knows she's a visual Libra. Everything needs to look designy and right. Anyway, we're gonna figure it out. YouTube, fix your live streaming. I'm in the phase of development that includes making things look good. Always. Always. Okay. Let me get my notes. Hello and welcome. Okay. Surfing. For those of you that haven't been surfing, there are a lot of different steps to surfing, right? I love it as an example for spiritual awakening because the more that I identify that I'm actually surfing energy waves very frequently, the easier it is for me to understand what's going on in the mechanics energetically and then how to explain it to people. There are different ways to work with energetic awareness. Now, when I talk about surfing specifically, I'm taking you guys into like a teaching class on the mechanics of awareness, okay? So welcome. When I talk about surfing, I am speaking about being attentive to the present moment and the specific mechanics of how I am attentive to the present moment and how someone such as myself could be so bold as to not pre-plan, not look very far ahead, and not use the mental construct of the mind to create a matrix of thought to then rely upon in order to know I'm safe, but to know that I'm safe based on the presence of the moment and the conditions that I'm psychically attuned to and monitoring in the moment the way you would go surfing. So even to break that down, just to like set the stage here, when you go surfing, you pull out your surfboard or foam board if you're new, you get on your wetsuit, like you get your gear, you go into the water and you know you're going to do something. This is like how I enter every day. Like I know I'm going to do something. I know that I'm prepared. I have my gear, which is like my conscious awareness. You go into the water and there are certain, I'll just explain the basics of surfing, right? You have to know how to swim, okay? There are certain skills you need for just basic performance, even to try to surf. You have to know how to actually surf, how to ride a board, right? Board sports are a specific set of skills and muscle development, sure, etc. Physiology. I think I just made up another word too, but anyway, that's fine. Then there's, okay, you need to know how to swim. You have to learn how to work with the board. There's paddling with the board. It's another skill set. There's sitting in the water and waiting. God knows surfers do a lot of waiting because they're watching the water. You have to actually be in the right conditions as well, right? Like surfers are always looking for the conditions. What swells can they handle? How big are the surfs that they can handle as far as the waves? Like I can only do like 3-foot waves, you know? So they're always monitoring the conditions, monitoring the environment before they go out into the water and when they go out into the water. This is all consciousness based. I love explaining just the specifics of surfing because I'm going to circle it back to why it's important. Then there's the understanding the timing of how to time catching a wave, paddling to catch up with it, and then actually surfing the wave and having fun while you're doing it without getting hurt. So there's a lot of different steps. I like to break it down into 3 steps more specifically. This is all about presence. This is about being, I'm gonna say so bold again. It's so bold that you can just say, I don't really mind whatever's going on in the matrix. The matrix is logical, linear thought, where as a society, we've trained ourselves to over-rely on thought, over-rely on the mind, over-rely on the ego's ability to keep us safe, rather than allowing the presence and performance of the heart to lead in keeping us safe. When you're surfing, and whether it's physically or energetically, your heart is leading you because you're intuitively feeling the vibrations and the movement of the environment around you, everything that's going on, and your heart is automatically queuing up through desire and impulse your ability to maintain your safety in any now moment and to create something really beautiful in any now moment. These are like synchronicities. These are magical encounters. People that you don't even know you need to run into, resources you don't even know that you need that show up, like really, really magical, spontaneous, miraculous events happen from this act of energetic surfing that stems from the presence of the heart. I'm going to break this down into 3 ways, and this is how I break down spiritual awakening. Depending on the teacher that you listen to or run into will depend on the sort of advice they're giving. These are also what I would call probably 3 separate phases, and we could even say that they are beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Okay, so let me think where I want to start. So phase number 1, and this is all like channeled guidance from my guides too, and they've taken me through all of these phases at different points in my life, different points in the day, different points in the year. I'm always repeating the different phases. So if you are new to awakening, you'll be in phase 1. If you are an advanced practitioner, you're going through all the phases as a cycle, continually, revising, editing your approach, getting more aware, understanding who you are authentically and how to function and move in the world. Hi, sweetheart, welcome. So phase number 1, is there anything else I would call it? Let me think. Your first step to conscious awakening is what I would call, what my guides call, sink or swim. This is a very basic, not basic in a bad way, like literally it's like a basic awakening. You think about it in terms of sink or swim. Anything that you're handling, whether it's a traumatic childhood that you're trying to heal, whether it's a conflict with someone, whether it is making a decision, planning your day, like planning your life, figuring out how to work through anxiety in the moment and get present and still, do meditation, whatever it is, it doesn't even matter. Whatever you are handling right now, in general and overall, phase number 1 is sink or swim. If you think about those terms, it is a polarity-based conscious mindset that is good or bad, that is right or wrong. This consciousness base is about learning personal ethics and personal morals and what's important to you. What I love about, my guides train me through this in so many different ways, and they will bring me back into this phase a lot. What I love about the idea of sink or swim is that you have a choice in any moment. If your mind is in a more dualistic processing mode, right, wrong, bad, good, yes, no, like There's nothing wrong with that. It's literally just focus on sink or swim. If you can make the choice in any moment to see through the lens of, do I want to sink? Do I want to drown? Or, you know, and struggle? Or do I want to swim? Do I want to learn how to actually like keep up? Let me think about what else my guides would say on swimming. They always tell me sink or swim, Emelina, sink or swim. And I go, swim, 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 teach me how to swim. When you're a child or a baby or watching a dog that's like brand new to swimming, or for those of you that haven't swam, you know, I focused on really learning to develop my swimming skills last year. It's a process, you know, when you're thrown into the water, there's this automatic impulse to panic if you don't know how to swim. It's this idea that you don't realize that if you just be still, you'll naturally float. Right? Your body is buoyant. The water will support you. This is the same thing with life, the same thing with the flow of life, the same thing with consciousness, how the universe works mechanically. The flow of life, the law of one is you are buoyant. It will lift you. It will hold you if you stop struggling. If you just relax and rest, you'll be held by the flow of the universe. Things will work out for you. Now, when we're learning how to swim, you got to learn how to tread water when you want to move, have direction, like learn the mechanics of the water. It is a different density than the air, than the ground that we walk on, right? So when we're working through the mechanics of manifestation, of understanding our own consciousness, there are different densities. When you are moving through a conflict that is brand new, or something that your soul hasn't quite learned yet, or maybe your higher self has, but the human hasn't yet, there is a density that feels like water, that you have to learn how to navigate that density of consciousness. Now, we do that through processing dualistic thinking and learning the skills in the moment of how to swim with dualistic thinking. Most of that, you know, I mean, mechanically in water, it'll come down to like, oh, my hands have to move a certain way. I have to kick continually to keep myself afloat. I want to keep my head above water to feel safe. You know, that's like the swimming side of it. At the consciousness side, it's making micro decisions on the moment to moment basis. Hey, I'm swimming. I'm dedicated to swimming, which means you're not dedicated to failing. It means you're not dedicated to a doom and gloom, negative, self-harm process, which is what it is, what my guides would describe as sinking. Okay? It's thinking that you have to sacrifice the self. That is sinking. It is thinking that someone else's needs are more important than your own needs. That is sinking. That's a level of self-sacrifice. It's thinking that you're in scarce resource. There's not enough resource for you and others to be able to thrive. That is sinking. Sinking is a nice way of saying, you know, if you sink a little too long, you drown, right? So like my guides always tell me sink or swim, Emelina, sink or swim. They say it all the time to me, my spirit guides, because it's the first indicator that something needs additional effort. And in this case, the effort is the choice. It's your choice to say, hold on, I don't need to sink. I can put a little bit of effort into creating momentum through action in my present state of awareness to create momentum to move forward, which is the act of treading water in this invisible world of energy. I hope you guys are like following with me. Sometimes it's a little difficult to describe energy. I kind of just get it because it's integrated into me, but I wanted to find a way to explore and explain this in a new way for you guys. So let me think what else. When my guides say sink or swim, that's always the warning sign for me. It's not a warning sign as in like, I'm gonna drown right now because I don't have a panic. It's literally like, it's like the first indication, like why even struggle when you can put in the momentum to swim? You could enjoy swimming, or you can struggle, right? And if you struggle a little too long, a little too much, then you go into an anxiety attack and then you drown. Or you pretend to drown and then realize that you might drown maybe one day and die, and you go, why am I doing this? And then you lift yourself out of whatever cesspool you've created for yourself, which is usually some level of a dark night of the soul, or a tower moment, or shit just going awry in all areas of your life, and you realize, hey, hold on, I'm the one in control actually of my life. Like, God is going to take this over for me, but like, I don't have to, whatever it is that you are surrounded in, whatever bullshit is surrounding you, and circumstances, it's that moment where you look around and go, hold on, just because this is happening doesn't mean that I have to struggle. Just because these circumstances are happening doesn't mean I have to panic. You know, I know you guys don't know me personally, but if you were to see me in any level of crisis, I am one of the most balanced people. At this point in my life, I just like I have a pretty blatant refusal for panic attacks. Sometimes they happen, very rarely, because I understand the mechanics of the universe. It's like, if you can stay balanced and centered, like, you'll be good, because you'll start to develop the skills to swim. And sometimes we suck at swimming. It depends on the scenario that we're being thrown into. And I'm asking my guides to create this as a transmission through the Akashic records. So whatever mentally isn't perfectly explained through my lips, you can receive as your own download to then unpack on your own time and your own energetic system. Okay, so let me think more on sink or swim. Sink or swim is where a lot of spiritual practitioners and like gurus spend time teaching. Okay, so it's like non-dualistic thinking, generally speaking, is the like understanding of this phase. It's learning how to not think in a dualistic way. It's learning how to think in a more positively expectant way. It's learning to assume that you are the thing, the creator, the God self that creates the new reality. Like, you actually have a choice between sink or swim. You can choose to struggle and sink and drown, or you can choose to put in some effort and to learn the skills that are necessary to swim. And then swimming can be enjoyable for you, and then you can understand how to move through your 3D density experience, being able to swim and have fun, good freestyle stroke, I don't know, whatever you got going on. And that's the choice. And that is done through bringing yourself into stillness, getting present, assuming the best, wrangling the monkeys in the mind, not believing every thought that goes through your head. Again, coming back into stillness, learning how to meditate, maybe even doing yoga, doing any of this through movement. These are your basic principles here in phase one, okay? Because you're building the skills to surf. You can't surf without knowing how to swim, right? We can't surf waves of prosperity, of I don't know, all the good spiritual things, physically, miracles. I feel like we're all trying to create miracles like overnight, big quantum leaps, quantum jumps, changing our lives. All the good things. Okay, so phase number 2, and a lot of spiritual practitioners spend time here as well, is what I would call acceptance of what is. So this is a more passive spiritual experience or passive spiritual phase. And I would liken this to the aspect of surfing where you're sitting on the board in the water, just watching, waiting, enjoying the stillness of the time and space while you're watching waves off in the distance, looking for something that might be good to surf, looking for something that might be enjoyable, deciding who you are, creating poetry in your mind. I don't know, like being one with the water, being one with all that there is, because you're in stillness in that aspect of surfing. So phase number 2, what I would call acceptance of what is, a lot, you know, what I'm trying to pull on my memory bank here, like what do most practitioners say about this phase? This is where a lot of people spend time. A lot of gurus spend time in explaining this space. It is the passive space, okay? We're gonna go into an active space as well, but I think the reason why I wanted to address this is because people over pacify spirituality, and it's like, whoa, just like go with the wave, like all is good, you know, just sit back, you know, relax, just, it's very passive. This part of the phase is meant to be passive, But in no way is this the end all be all, because if you remember, when you came out to the water and you got your gear, your intention was to surf, not to sit. So I just like, sitting is part of surfing, but it's not why we go out to surf. Like, you go out to surf because you want to catch a wave. You go out to surf because you want clarity, and this is anything in your life. You want clarity and direction. You want to enjoy an experience. You want to learn what you want to get clear on what that experience is. You want to catch the wave, create it into your reality, and enjoy it coming into your life in a very physical way with an emotional high that comes with it. Like, there's an entire, I don't know, for those of you that do surfing, like, there's an entire high. It's the same reason why I snowboard. Like, there's a high, an emotional high that comes with it. It's just so enjoyable. And that is the process of creation. Oh my gosh, I love that yes, in the comments, you guys, you'll have to like watch the notes that are coming in here. I love that. Yeah, your intention is to surf. Your intention is to create. So when we're in phase 2, which is like what I would call the acceptance of what is, this is where all of the gurus generally, gosh, they spend so much time here, where it's like, it's just so passive. If I'm gonna be honest, it drives the shit out of me. It drives me crazy because people sit here too long, and then I'm like, what do you like, what do you, you're just passive. You're just passive. Like, I'll be passive on the way to being active, but I'm not permanently passive. It's not a great place to sit. The times in my life where I have been very passive in this very self-acceptance, acceptance of what is, it's beautiful for a moment until you realize there's nothing to do there. There's nothing to be excited about there. There's nothing to stimulate you. You're just like, it's just to sit. It's necessary. It's necessary to rest, but it's not the place of permanence. And I feel like most of the spiritual data that I have taken in from guru-minded sorts of people that the masses look up to are preaching this phase as the end-all be-all. This is the non-attachment, which is beautiful and necessary. This is the space of, actually let me think this through. This is the space of non-attachment. Non-attachment to people, relationships, events, non-attachment to items or objects. Learning that you are not defined by this physical reality. The thing is that, those of you that want to take that to the nth degree will explore it. I've explored it. Like when you non-attach, when you attach to nothing, then there is nothing. And then you come back to the realization of, I'm a human and I'd like to enjoy this experience. And I think I've not attached to anything, and I think that might be a problem. We do this pendulum swing as humans, and I feel like a lot of spiritualists don't talk about it. You're never going to be in one place permanently. You're never just going to be permanently balanced. We are human. To be human is to allow the ebb and flow of experience. It is designed in the simulation on purpose for us to learn from, for us to move through cycles and develop. Karma is not bad. It is just the ability to learn. You want to be able to learn. It's just like, how quickly can you do it? How good are your mechanics? How good are you at swimming? I would call karma the swim. If you learn how to swim energetically, it means when karma comes, you're like, oh yeah, let me swim. I don't want to sink. I don't want to drown. Drowning is like karma that's been like stacked up, like just hitting you over the freaking head. Like, try to just have an enjoyable experience. Nothing is bad. Nothing is wrong. You can do it all. Obviously with respect to other humans and free will. I'll preach about that all day. Like, oh my gosh, like, respect free will, please, dear God. Anyway, so if you don't respect free will, there are big laws in the universe that will take care of that. Big karmic realities. Anyway, so let me think more. Acceptance of what is, non-attachment. This is like, if we say it in terms of the universe, it's the big Om, right? Like when you say Om, that is going back into the void, back into the nothingness, feeling yourself dissolve into the oneness of everything that creates everything. necessary. It's necessary to understand as one aspect of the pendulum swing. I like going there as well. I like going back into the void in meditation. It's a good reset point, but it's not where you want to live, because at the end of the day, you're human. You're having a human experience. I'm drinking coffee. You know, I got a puppy sitting over there. Like, you know, we are physical beings doing physical things, releasing constantly. You know, you can't just release everything. You become nothing. And when you become nothing, there's no point in being human. I'll just say it again. When you become nothing, there's no point in being human. The stories are things that we want to consciously use. The stories, the ego, the construct of the mind are things that we want to use as tools to surf with to create an enjoyable human physical experience. They're not things to run away from and try to dissolve all stories, because then you're nothing. Like, there is no context of reality without a story. I can say this one from personal experience because I really have explored just about everything and will continue to do so. And I'm always learning and developing and growing. And I always feel like a total complete beginner and an expert at the same time. And I'm happy to float in both territories. I float in the beginner territory a lot because when you do this much work, you really just realize you're always a beginner. You're always curious. And that mindset is what allows you to surf, is curiosity. Willingness. Right. Hold on. Where did I want to go with this? I had there was a realization. I feel like it was my guides hitting me over the head months ago, where I was like, okay, detach from the story, detach from the story, detach from the story. I'm going to detach from all stories of my upbringing. Let me unravel them all, look at them in front of me. Like, as a psychic, I'm doing my own healing work. And I was like, cool. I'm not the story. I'm the soul behind it. And then I really, really contemplated this, and I thought about it, and I was like, without the story, this is real boring. I was like, I just need a story that's not hurting me. I need a story that's supportive. I need a story that I can get behind. I need a story that I enjoy. And all of that is me reconstructing the matrix of my mind space and how I navigate the world into creating a story that feels good for me, a story that I can get behind, a backstory that propels me forward instead of drowning me. And again, these are very esoteric concepts, so take what you love, leave the rest, but it's really about constructing and creating a matrix or a set of beliefs for your ego to get around, your identity to get around, that feel good without hurting yourself or others, that allow you to propel yourself forward rather than sit in a cesspool of shit, which I have no gentle way of saying that. That is what it is. What's the cesspool? Self-pity. Oh, it always happens. Oh, big victimization states. It always happens this way. This always happens to me. Big self-doubt. It's a cesspool. It's like disgusting. Like every time I get there, I'm like, whoa. We reconstruct the story. We need a better story. This story is not working. And I very actively work with my own personal story until I get things that feel good for my identity. The identity and the ego are pretty synonymous. I'll say that with a grain of salt, but for this conversation anyway. And it's good to give the ego something to chew on as an identity that makes sense. It's always going to be there. The ego is always going to need a mental construct to rely on in order for you to function in this day-to-day world without floating off into some space and ending up in a mental ward. Because you're so one with all that you forgot about your body. And shit like that happens, by the way. So, I mean, the ego and the mind, the construct of reality creates your perspective and your lens, your worldview. Your perspective, your lens, and your worldview dictate your approach, what sorts of actions you're going to take based on the sort of person that you think you are. So, if you want to change how you approach life, how you swim, how confident you are with your swimming ability, your actions, your momentum, your clarity, your grace, how you go after your goals and get them, how you work with the mechanics of the universe, then you have to get very clear on what sort of story would support your ego so that you feel safe enough in the matrix of physical things. Yeah, woof. Lucky's like sitting over there, just like, you just went. Okay. I might need to check time in a sec too. I'm gonna have to run it a few, but let me cover, I want to cover step 3. Anyway, so actually let me go back. Acceptance of what is being a passive role. We make it active by claiming the new story, by deciding a new story, by taking our current story and editing it a little bit. Generally speaking, it's very difficult. It could be a real shock for the system, the energetic system, to make a drastic change in a story, to become a wildly new character overnight. Can we do it? Yes, but it's a big shock to the system. So what you want to do, without me going into tremendous detail, I will shoot this continually in other videos as well, is you want to make subtle, fine-tuned adjustments to your story, to how you show up. This could be a way that you dress. This could be changing your hair color. These are very identity-focused things. This is like, for me, like I got an extra couple piercings, I got another tattoo. Like, it's like whatever is going to help you shift your identity in a positive way that allows you to claim who you are and how you move in this world a little bit at a time. This could be starting a new workout routine. It could be learning how to relax more. You want to stack a little bit at a time on top of what you're already doing, because it's easier to digest emotionally, mentally, and integrate into who you are. Again, we can make big drastic shifts, but it's kind of like a train hitting a wall. I used to do more things like that, and I stopped doing it because it's just so aggressive to the energy system and to the body actually as well. So, okay, I think I covered that. Step number 3, which we would call the advanced step spiritually, is learning how to surf. All right, so this is about really being so focused in the present moment that you're almost, I want to say lost in thought, but it's like not in thought. You're like lost in the moment, but you're not lost at all. You're actually just automatically on autopilot with spirit, navigating your reality because you've fine-tuned your skills. You understand your gear, which is your mind, your story, your base. You understand what facets of your identity you want to pull out of yourself and expose, bring into the world that are the most supportive for you. You know how to work with your ego because your ego wants to make something. It wants to create something. The ego creates stories. That's not bad. It's just like, what stories are you creating? Are you creating a cesspool or are you creating something fun? The something fun in this case is surfing. Now let me break down what surfing actually is energetically. Surfing is catching a wave. It's a very, very active process. It is action oriented, but it is, let me think about how to explain this. There's timing, there's skill, there's flow, there's analysis, there's action, and then there's the surf. Okay, the surf is your manifestation. The surf is riding the joy of seeing a creation come into complete fulfillment. That's why we're here, right? That's why we're doing this physical thing in this funky like human simulation that we're in. I will always talk about humanity like a video game. I really do see it like a simulation, and the way that I function in the game is like a simulation. Like, I treat everything like, and I don't even play video games, but it just, mechanically, I could just kind of see what's going on behind the game engineering. Anyway, so when you're going to catch a wave and you're going to surf, there are a few steps here. Getting clarity on what you want, okay? What do you want to create? Who are you in the act of that creation? How do you move? How do you swim? This is like an emotional prosperous state. How do you feel about yourself and how do you want to feel? Like, if you're typically a shy person, but you don't want to feel shy, then how do you feel when you're really bold? How does that person move through their reality? How do they see? What's their worldview? You know, it's trying on different aspects of who you are. Again, I would say it's emotional. It is based in your story, but it really has to do with emotional prosperity. Because when you're in emotional scarcity, you're going to act very differently, and you're not going to be able to catch a wave. Like if you try to surf and you're not confident, you're just going to be treading a lot of water. You're going to be exhausted. You're going to get burnout. You're going to get salt water in your lungs and up in your throat. And you're probably never going to go surfing again, especially if you're new. So like, we're not looking to be traumatized. You know, you don't want to traumatize yourself into the process of creation. You want to learn. You want to do it gently and safely, build the skills up over time. Anyway, so it's having clarity and direction for what you want. It's developing the skill to get what you want. Okay, which is really like the skills of the actions necessary for the type of goal or vision that you have. If you want to create a business, there's no getting around it. You need to learn how to create a business. You're gonna have to learn how to work with people. You have to learn contract law. You have to learn sales. You have to learn marketing. Those are the things that come with a business. These are the skills that are built through action that are necessary in order to catch that wave. Okay, that is all action-based. Then there's timing. It's understanding the timing of the surf, the timing of the waves, the conditions. Are you in the right conditions? You know, are you in shark-infested water? Are you in something that has no wave and it's still and calm and it's beautiful and you enjoy it, but there's nothing to do? Like, you know, you have to make sure you're in the right conditions as well. There's the timing of you catching the right wave, and that's a very intuitive process that comes through a tremendous amount of practice. That practice is your desire and dedication to put in the practical action to become who you want to become, to have the life that you want to live. There is no lack of action present. I feel like a lot of spiritual communities overemphasize the passivity of the acceptance of what is to then pacifying action, but actually action is very, very necessary. It's about combining all of it together. We could call this surfing the ong, okay? So in yoga, I have a lot of yoga training, you guys. The om is going back to the void. Ong, O-N-G, is the act of creation. When the void says, I want to create something, and then it makes something. It makes a planet. It makes a soul. It makes a human. It makes something. It's the act of bringing something into fruition. They are two sides of the same coin, two swings of the pendulum, the om and the ong, okay? Most yoga focuses on the om. Kundalini yoga focuses on the ong. It's the kundalini, actually. It's like the act of the creation, of the creative force to create. Okay, I love that I'm going on the swing of the pendulum, because when you're following spiritual practitioners, they tend to focus on one or the other. I go in between, but I'm really focused on the creation aspect. I'm really focused on the ong. I'm focused on the surfing, less than the void. Of course, both are necessary. Oh, hi, sweetheart. Come here. Come here. I might pull him into the shot. Come here, puppy. Okay, and then we'll keep talking surfing. Yeah. Okay, I'm like living my best life right now. Lucky. I'm gonna cry. Okay, so where else do I want to go on surfing? It's really about, it's about the act of creation. It's also about not giving up when things don't go your way immediately. Because if you think about like surfing, if this is your first wave, oh, I love you guys. They love you. They love you. Your sweet eyes. He is like the most sensitive dog, like the most, I love like psychically sensitive animals. Like, it's beautiful. Like, anyway. Okay. You got to be patient with your process. Here's the deal. You might be building up skills today to surf a wave that's in 15 years. And sometimes we just have to be okay with that. You know, a lot of us are looking for immediacy. Like if I don't see proof right now that it's working, and it's like, whoa, chill out. You just need a little bit of proof. You just need to see that you're building the skills. You need to monitor whether or not you're going in the right direction. Are these the skills that are actually necessary to surf that sort of wave? What sort of wave are you looking to surf? Are you skilled enough, and are you capable of surfing that wave? This could be, for example, and I really truly believe anything is possible, but I also truly believe that the work needs to be put in. The groundwork, the footwork, the basics, the foundations, the practical awareness, the spiritual awareness, the emotional awareness, the mental fluidity, and mental curiosity. There's nothing worse than like a rigid mind. Like, oh, gross. Curious, forever curious. Just like stamp that in your consciousness. Curiosity gets me out of everything. Like gets me out of very sticky situations all the time. It's just like a part of how I flow. So anyway, going back to this wave. For example, if you are saying, I want to make $10 million a year, and you're manifesting it and you're visualizing, you're like, I'm going to make $10 million a year. It's like, that's cool. But practically, if we were to look at that, how do you want to get there? You're probably not just going to stumble into it. Maybe you'll win a lottery. It'll be a one-off thing. Maybe. Possible. Yes. But you know what would be more practical? And when you're practical, I swear to God, the universe just gets right behind you and wants to give you everything that you want, because you're proving it to yourself and to the universe that you don't have to have the universe hit you a home run. You're going to do it anyway. That's the beauty of practicality. So then it gets really easy for the universe to back you. You're like, I want to make $10 million a year. Okay, well, you maybe start praying for a good business idea. Maybe start praying for a good business mentor. Start reading business books. Start learning about startup culture. Start reading into funding sources. Start understanding what it takes to build funding for a business that would generate that, or however you want to get about it. You know, the universe is like, what sort of wave do you want to catch, and how do you want to catch it? How do you want to do this, and how do you want to feel in the process? If you're, again, just like, I'm going to make $10 million a year. Like, what? Stop it. I am beautifully the most practical and impractical person there is. I will reach for the fucking moon, sun, and stars, and I am one of the most practical people you'll meet. Most people don't see me as typically practical because I'm so navigating the waves of spirit, but it's because I've got the practicality on repeat. I've got it on automatic. I shot in a video yesterday that you guys can go watch, the live stream for the week, where I literally talk about things I forget to mention to you guys because I forget that people struggle with it. Daily, repetitive, monotonous, practical action is so fucking necessary. You have to set your foundation in place in order to get anything. And again, not saying this to like be weird or toot my horn or whatever, just saying it as a practical methodology. I dedicated my 20s to building a foundation of understanding the mechanics of business, sales, online business, personal development, and spiritual development. That is my 20s. I didn't party. I didn't go on vacations. I was just working through what I thought would be the fundamentals to create my life. And that's not anything bad on anyone doing anything opposite. I'm more just trying to overemphasize the amount of effort that I do believe is required to build yourself up into anything that is different from how you were raised. If you are raised in circumstances that would produce a $10 million business, then it's much easier because your subconscious already has the impression of the ideas at such a deep level that you can create and have the resources. But if you don't have something like that, and if what you want, your goals, your dream life is drastically different than what you are living right now or where you have come from, it takes quite a bit of repetitive, monotonous effort to saturate your subconscious mind with the thoughts, ideas, beliefs, energy, emotional vitality, and then physical health in order to actually birth and create that dream into this world. And that dream, if it's very different than how you were raised, again, will mean that you are going to have to become a very different person in order to receive and get that thing. Now, I feel like where a lot of people get lost in this, especially in American culture, is it's like at any cost. It's like, I will get that at any cost. And then they throw their ethics out the window. They throw their morals out the window. They throw people under the bus. They sacrifice everything in a bag of chips. Like, it's ridiculous. I have spent my entire life up until this point dedicatedly focused on my morals, ethics, and values. I have incredible integrity. It is my most important core value. It is how I vet everyone around me, is, do your intentions, thoughts, emotions, and actions match? Do your actions match your intentions? I vet people all the time. They don't even know that I'm doing it. I'm just constantly watching intentions versus actions, intentions versus actions. This is how practical I am, which is also hilarious because I don't talk about it that much. I'm talking about it to expose you guys to a process that might work well for you, to realize that it is very spiritual and energetically sensitive, psychic, highly attuned, and aware, to constantly look at your reality through the lens of, do those intentions match those actions? Is this in integrity? Am I in integrity? If I'm not in integrity, then what am I offering the universe but conflict? So what would I expect to show up in my life but really confusing shit? Like, I'm not about it. I didn't even realize how much I need to preach about integrity. It is such it literally is like a total, complete core value for me. I'm always vetting everything through integrity. The people that I surround myself with have extraordinary integrity. Those that don't, I boot out. It's very obvious. If you, actually, I won't get into all this. Just have in your mind, like, you can get where you want to go. You can create what you want to create with integrity, while being an asset to yourself and others, without hurting yourself or others, while being able to live the life that you want to live. You can have everything. You don't have to sacrifice love for career or career for love. You don't have to sacrifice family for money. Like, this stuff is all nonsense. It's literally like, you can have it all. Rearrange your subconscious mind as Play-Doh. Just like, work with the Play-Doh. Massage it into place, into something consciously that can help you surf better waves. Again, with the idea and understanding that you have to have clarity of what you want. You have to know what you want. You're going surfing. You have the intention of going surfing. You have intention of creating something in your life that is different than you've experienced before. You have the intention of the adventure, which is you're gonna have to learn timing. You're gonna have to learn skill. You're gonna have to learn repetition of that skill, practice of that skill, many different skills. You're gonna have to learn how to flow, because force is shitty. None of us work well through force, okay? You can't force the universe into doing what you want. Like, I've got the puppy here. I'm not gonna force him to do anything. I'm gonna ask him to flow, and we're gonna flow together. And if I need to, I'm gonna train him to flow with me with positive reinforcement so that he learns how I flow, so we can learn to flow together. Obviously with the human being the alpha, like, that's, you know, we want them to feel safe. So it's like knowing that you're the alpha in your life. Like, you want everything to feel safe with you. You're not going to be demanding and controlling. You might need to train some people into place around you in order to learn how to treat you. I feel like we are constantly training everyone around us on how to treat us. I think that is a real thing. You're going to have to learn how the mind's ability to analyze. Can you analyze your stories? This is like analyzing your surf. Can you analyze other people's stories? Can you analyze, this is the mind's ability to quickly move, other people's intentions, and then analyze, are they acting in the way that they intend, or are they all talk? I've had to learn that lesson so hard because I am an action-oriented person, and over and over and over again for years and years, it would floor me that people's intentions and their actions wouldn't match, because I moved that way automatically because I have been practicing it since I was young. And I also will say that even that was not a product of my environment. I saw in my environment growing up, there was so much of a lack of integrity that I said, I don't want to be like that. So then I went the opposite way. So when I was young, I was like, yo, I'm just going to do what I say I'm going to do. Like, I'm just going to follow through. Like, I'm going to have integrity because I don't like the way it feels to be in an environment that's a product of a lack of integrity. So anyway, it's using your mind to be able to vet, understand, position yourself into place of success, into having everything that you want, understanding the flow, understanding how to become present with your awareness, working on an unconscious autopilot spiritually, which comes from a consistent daily spiritual practice of meditation, of self-reflection, of slowing down, of sitting in stillness, of getting clear on your ideas, your values, what you want, and your personal value, how you move in the world, and your identity. I feel like the entire stream is coming to a head right now. This is the moment. These are the lessons. And all of that is very action-based. It's a combination of flow, timing, action, waiting, moving, knowing when to move, when to strike, all that's really important. For those of you that don't know, that might need to know this, business is a way of surfing. It's a way of surfing through the matrix, and it's very special if you can do it while being in spirit. I would say Sarah Blakely is probably a phenomenal example of someone that can do that. She's the CEO of Spanx, which most of you will know at this point. I'll try to think of some others. Keanu Reeves is coming to mind. That might be, I haven't done a ton of research on him, but I feel like he's a good one in this like business plus like celebrity territory to work in this way. Anyway, okay, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. I have so much love for all of you. I will see you all soon. I hope you enjoyed the stream. If you did, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, drop me a comment below. Let me know what you loved and what resonated. And if this resonates and you want to work with me and you love my vibe, I will leave some links in the description below. Okay, thank you so much, you guys, for joining me. Lots of love. Talk to you soon. Alrighty, bye.